G'day all, this is Weird, and welcome to Invasions Explained. Today, I've got an invasion that I want to showcase, but it needs to be sped up just a little bit before we get to the important parts, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, here we are. Finally I discover the host, and I do so with my ears first, because I can hear them casting up top. Your ears are probably the best resource you have to use against casters of all kinds, but mostly sorcerers, because they are louder than they think they are, and the sound cues are one of the best ways to actually dodge something that you're not looking at. Of course, having located them, I go up to meet them, and I'm treated to the usual caster long-range spell spam. I take one look at the single caster, I decide, nah, I'm not fighting this in an open, no-cover staircase, and once the other guy comes out with the frenzied burst, I think it is, I just decide wholesale, nah, none of this is for me, I need to find a better place to fight. This should be most people's reactions when they find something like this. Fighting two casters in an open field is basically a death sentence. It doesn't matter how good they are, it doesn't matter how bad they are, you're at an extreme disadvantage. You can notice a little bit of what's to come when I use the railing to intercept the frenzied burst there. Now, I don't go too far. I don't want to force them to run too far and give up or become suspicious about where I'm going, so I mostly just go behind this rock. I let them think that, you know, I'm just heading out of range before I counterattack. But what I really want is to fight around this rock, and I will explain why. This rock is in a really good place, both for me to fight around and use to control my opponents, and it's also in a very confined space because of the rocks that flank it, which means that if I'm fighting casters who want range, there are definite points where they simply cannot back up. They are funneled in certain directions if they want to retreat, and those directions will lead back up behind the rock where they will no longer be able to shoot me. Now, one of them does have a pretty good idea in that they go up top on the rock and they start shooting, but it turns out that in Elden Ring and a lot of Souls games, there is an absolute angle by which you can't really shoot any further down, and I exploit that to my advantage there. The number two reason why I like this rock is because it is right-angled enough so that I can duck under that aim limit. And so it provides me cover in more than one way. It provides cover for me in the vertical sense, and it provides cover for me in the horizontal sense. Now, I'm using the arcane build here, and probably the best tool I have at the moment is the weapon art for Mohg's Spear, because it does one thing that they can't. Their attacks can't go through the rock, whereas Mohg's Spear weapon art is simply an AoE, and that very much does go through the rock. So in this space flanked by rocks, this confined space with only two directions of retreat, it is a very effective way to get pressure off me, and a very effective way to get some damage if my opponents are not managing their zoning correctly, which they are not. I don't manage to kill anyone, of course, and immediately out comes the comet spam, and back I go to my shelter. At this point, my opponents are starting to cotton on to the fact that I can simply negate their ranged options whenever I particularly want, and they're coming out with the close combat weapons. That's exactly what I want, because as soon as we get down to the melee attacks, I'm pretty much guaranteed to win. They don't have enough health, they don't know how to space, they don't know how to zone properly. It's over. But it would never have gotten to that point, and it would have been a much longer invasion if I hadn't immediately sought cover and used it to the best of my ability. And that's all for this Invasion Explained. It was a short one today, but thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time.